Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very latest and very special episode of the CADS podcast. We're here tonight. We're going to be talking about the big cup final coming up. That's the Europa League Cup final, the Peanuts version of the premium cup final, but we'll be following later on. I've been joined by some lovely gentlemen. I have three excellent fellas here with me tonight. We've got Ashley, we've got Marcel, and we've got David. David, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you very much. I'm in Normandy at the moment, so there you go. I'll be back in time for the match, though.
So you're joining us on holiday. Marcel's getting ready to go on holiday. How you doing, Marcel?
Yeah, fine. I'm 6.25 hours northwest of Bilbao at the moment, where I live, and I'll be there on Wednesday.
Excellent.
And Ashley's looking very dapper tonight in his little cravat. He's ready to go. Ash, how are you feeling?
I actually thought that Dave had one on, but it was just his white shirt.
Yeah, it's just a white shirt, yeah.
I was feeling underdressed with if Dave had one on, so that's why I put mine on. Hey, I'm the only one stateside. All you guys are in France. I feel like I am a foreigner, the stranger, l'étranger.
We are absolutely doing this in the wrong language tonight. We should definitely switch to French. How would you cope? Actually, no, you spent time in Canada. You should be just fine.
I should be fine. Actually, I was speaking to two French ladies yesterday at the swimming pool. Both.
I bet you were. All right. Okay. So.
Yeah, they were asking Ashley, how do you say restraining order in English?
So we have a fairly big game to discuss, gentlemen, restraining orders aside. And it's going to be interesting to see what people's thoughts are, because I think we're all very, very aware that our league form has been absolutely toilet for much of the season. But in terms of European performances, we've actually been rather good, say it quietly, and somewhat professional, which that really doesn't sound very Spurs-like. So what's gone wrong in Europe, and how can we fix it?
What's gone right in Europe?
No, how do we get rid of this professional attitude that ends up getting us the results that we want? We absolutely want to be the Spurs that we all grew up with, loving and not having any idea of what was going to happen. How do we change that?
It's called sarcasm, Ashley. You've been in California too long. So what I don't get is why can't we apply the way we play in Europe to the league? There seems to be a chalk and cheese approach, doesn't there? And as much as our friend Ange says that he is not for moving, he has made a division between the two. There's different styles of play. It just doesn't add up why he doesn't say, well, this works, let's move it over to the league. I don't know. I'm being simplistic, but
yeah, I don't know if you've listened to Alistair Gold's Golden Guest podcast recently, but he made a very good point. He said Ange seems to have contradicted himself just a little bit on certain things, and one of them was winning trophies is not the be all and end all. We're not aiming to just win a trophy. We're looking to build something that's going to work longer term. That's what he said before. And now he's saying, oh, if we win a trophy, it could kickstart something that will go longer term. I think we got to a point where it was very clear we weren't going to win anything in the league. It was very clear we weren't going to get relegated. And we were in a position in Europe where we could actually kick on and do something. And at that point, internally, it was decided where the eggs were going to be placed. And it was very firmly in one basket. Because if you look at the lineups, our best 11 only ever sees the light of day in European matches. When did we see Cristiano Romero and Van de Ven, teaming up with Vicario and Porro and Udogie in a league match? When was the last time that happened? Aston Villa?
They have an amazing record, don't they, together?
Yeah, great record together, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like perhaps Ange is almost traumatized by the injuries that we've had. I mean, when you look, talking about the Crystal Palace match, they, as far as I could make out, they played, I think, their strongest team, didn't they? Crystal Palace.
They made two changes.
Yeah, but a pretty strong team. Now,
Yeah.
on the one hand, they hadn't just come back from the Arctic Circle 48 hours or whatever before. But, they've got a cup final more or less a week out their strongest team, and they weren't scared of people getting injured. Whereas I think Ange is now terrified of injuries. And, we're picking up injuries on like freak training ground accidents and things like that. So I'm trying to be sort of like even-handed about this, because I think what's happened is that now Ange is completely paranoid about injuries. I think he just thinks, I've just got to get the players to the final now, get the squad as strong as I can to the final, and I'm not risking it. I don't think it's just about resting people in A teams and B teams. I think it's like we've had so many injuries for whatever reason that I just can't take any risks anymore, and I want to get to the final with my strongest team, which we're not going to do because we're even getting injuries in incredible situations. So, so I think that's part of it.
So Oliver Glasner said after the match, he said, we haven't played for a week. We had to play our players in this game because this was the last chance for those players to actually get some minutes in their legs and make sure that everyone was happy with their fitness levels. And we've got time before the next game to make sure that any little knocks and things like that can be taken care of. And they haven't been playing twice a week, every week for 6 months or something like that. It's only recently we've started to see a little bit of a break in that schedule, but still we've played so often and so regularly that we've almost had to have two teams. But unfortunately, the team that's been picked for the league is unbalanced and frankly, in certain places, not good enough. And it's really let us down. Hence why we've had a significant number of losses this season.
I think it's also, well, no, I'm not buying that, but I'm only talking about at the moment. And I don't want to go into a season review either. I think it's
no, we'll be doing that later. Don't worry.
Yeah. So let's stick with it at the moment. But I think the main thing for Crystal Palace was we'd only just touched down from the Arctic Circle, so we're like a lot of players that couldn't play, and I think there is this paranoia. But I think I've said this in the last podcast, is that Nuno got really criticised for implementing an A team and a B team, and just he's de facto he's done that. And I think that in addition to all the rest of it, I think some of the B team players are very demotivated, and one in particular I can think of who, in my view, could very justifiably say, "I cannot believe I got dropped when I was playing so well."
Spence.
No, Spence. Yeah, sorry,
Not
I missed
Spence.
that. Spence.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be Spence.
Yeah. Basically, the kind of message is it wouldn't have mattered what he'd have done. He was going to get dropped when Doggy came back. So, the mentality, perhaps it's a mentality problem on his side, but I do can understand why he'll go, well, it actually doesn't matter how well I play. I can't break into the first team. And so I'm only going to get into the team if there's an injury. So I don't have to prove myself. I'll only get in if there's an injury. I'm not saying that's what he's saying, because I'm sure he's much more professional than that. But, I'm sort of pushing it, a lot to say that I think there's a little mentality which is, well, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm not getting in the first team.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, I think it's very right, Dave, and it's unfortunate that I was thinking about that. Two things. One is just on next Wednesday's game, I'd love to see Richarlison and Spence, because I think they'll both be highly motivated to be involved, somehow starting. But I just want to something about the Europa campaign. I think under Levy, even when Poch was here, the ultimate goal was to be top four, and for the most part, we achieved that under Poch, and I think it always has been, even under those his successors. I think possibly somewhere during the Europa campaign, when it looked like we would qualify for the knockout stage, it just becomes even more evident, if we're not going to move up the league, that this is a great entree into the Champions League, as opposed to top 5 as it will be this season. And maybe that was just a understanding that, you know what, let's just focus even more on this campaign, because it'll get us what we were striving for always, which was get into the Champions League and have access to all that money, 80 million, at least 80 million pounds or more if we get in.
I mean, they're taking their piss though. Sorry, but I mean, 60,000 people paying, I don't know how much to go and see that match.
I agree.
Traveling, I don't know how far, some of them. And getting served up that slop, I think it's an absolute disgrace. You know, and I think if they are sacking off the league, which is what they seem to be doing, then they should, like, tickets should be half price and refunds on season tickets. Frankly, I think it's awful. I mean, you got people that are coming from all over the world to watch that.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Well, money counts, money speaks, and 80 million or 100 million pounds, and that happens with this. I tell you, this hockey team. I used to live in Toronto. Hockey team over here, the Toronto Maple Leafs, have not won there's only one cup you can go for in hockey, the Stanley Cup, and they haven't won it since '67, and they are the most valuable franchise in professional hockey, and are sold out every game. So in many ways, you could say, well, they're screwing with the fans who have supported us since '67, and we continue to be useless when it comes to trying to win the Stanley Cup. And yet there they are making money hand over fist, and there are the fans coming back and being served up kind of not high quality winning hockey.
No, I don't think either side playing in this final has been playing high quality football for much of the season. You know, Manchester United started off the season with Ten Hag, fresh off the back of a cup win from last season, but the same old problems. I mean, I was amazed that they didn't sack him over the summer, simply because he just seemed to have no idea of what he was going to do with that club.
So he got the cup, didn't he?
Sorry?
He got the cup.
Yeah, he got the 2 cups.
Yeah.
But
that's why they
he
kept
didn't have he didn't seem to have a clear plan of what he was going to do with them. He was employed because of what he did at Ajax. And then in an interview like 9 months later, he was saying, "Oh, but I can't do at Ajax. I can't do at Manchester United what I used to do at Ajax. I don't have the players." And like, you're at Manchester United, make it work. You know, it would be like Ange coming to us having been brought in from what he did at Celtic and his other places, and you know, coming and not even trying to play the football that he was known for. And he's like, "Oh well, I can't make it work because I don't have the players." He at least tried to make it work. There's an argument that's been made as how successful that was, and how successful it has been. But he at least tried. And now they've got Amorim, who I think is a quality manager, and he has a very set way of playing football, and he's not going to divert from that. And he's been unfortunate because he really didn't have the players to play it, and he's still trying. And now he's been beset by injuries as well. So again, now we have 2 managers who have a very set style of play that they want to see their sides introduce. But both sides have been beset by injuries and poor form, and somehow they've both lucked into getting into this cup final. And looking at it, only one team seems to want to win it because it's a trophy. Tottenham seem to want to win it because it's a trophy and they can celebrate having won a trophy. Manchester United seem to want to win it because it'll get them into the Champions League.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not even going to have an open bus tour. They're going to have a barbecue at Carrington. I mean, it's ridiculous. I just don't get it. Marcel, what are your thoughts?
I think somewhere behind the scenes, Mr. Daniel Levy's had a quiet word in Andrew's ear and said, "Right, our only way to the Champions League is this cup. Do it."
Yeah, I agree.
And
that's what I said.
And I think maybe that message has got through to some of the players, and those aren't in the first team, as we said. have got demoralised by it. However, what they should have done is said, hell, I'm going to show that I'm worthy to be in that team and I'm going to play my guts out.
Yeah.
But too
Yeah.
many of them seem to be just ambling along. Or are they sort of saying, well, I'm not going to get injured because one of the first team will probably get injured and I'm in? It's a weird one. But I know from my rugby days that if I was dropped from a team, I'd be playing the lower team the next week, my guts out just to try and get back up again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is the way it should go. But Ange himself said that he was disappointed by the lack of effort from the players who are not let's say first team regulars for the big games against Crystal Palace. He said that the way that they tried to play was not acceptable because they didn't seem to be wanting to try and stake a claim. But then when you look at the way things have gone, we've been beset by so many injuries this year. Injuries at the training ground, injuries in matches, bizarre injuries, freak injuries. We just had Kulusevski, who's now going to be out for months after basically clashing knees. It's kind of nightmarish in a way.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and realistically, we're going to have to do something different in this game because we cannot stick to our normal tactical pattern because we just don't have the players anymore. If you were going to choose our top three midfielders, right?
They're all
There's
out.
a very good chance. Bergvall would certainly be in there. I mean, this is our player of the season. Today, he's got all three Player of the Season awards: Young Supporters Player of the Season, Supporters Player of the Season, and Official Supporters Club Player of the Season. Everything. I mean, our Player of the Season is going to be missing this match because he twisted his ankle ligaments in a training ground incident.
Mhm.
And by the sound of it, it wasn't even a tackle. So who knows what happened there? Kulusevski is, got a damaged patella and is now out for the rest of the season, and we're not even sure he's going to be back for pre-season. James Maddison picked up another injury. Those three players, you would probably put them in your starting 11 for most games if you wanted to try and win the game.
Absolutely.
However,
Right, so-
Bergwall may make it.
I'm sure they'd love to think that, but he's not going to. I mean, I put it up on the forum today. As I'd love to think this is all mind games and it's been like some kind of 4D chess from Ange. He's been putting the players off, getting them to fake injury, and we'll start the game against Manchester United with all three of them fit, but it ain't happening. I don't see one of them making it.
I don't think that's it. I don't think it's a fake thing. I think that Bergwall himself is young. He's going to heal quicker than some of the other players. But I think in his mind, he's trying to be determined to make it. And maybe he's the one who's pushing the agenda. I'll be there. More hopeful than reality, but you never know.
Yeah,
I think he's the closest.
I've got a vague hope for Bergvall as a sub.
Well, I think we all do. Let's wish the footballing gods say, "Hey, we'll make it happen."
But while we're on that subject, is it too early to say, what should the midfield be? What should the selection be with the injuries that we've got? How, should Sonny start? There's an awful lot of questions, and we've got the back five is settled.
Can I start off this thing, Dave? Because I listened to some. No, I'll just start it off and see what you guys say. I listened to a podcast this morning specifically about who could replace Kulusevski and obviously the other two guys as well. And they had 5 options, although a couple of them were a bit odd. And I'll just start off. One of them was obviously what seems obvious: Sarr, Bentancur, and Basuma. Another one was, and they had a guy, a Burnley supporter, come on and talk about this because we don't know about this. He was suggesting that Odegaard could play in the number 10, and we're giving his reasons because he had seen it at Burnley, And then another one was going to a 4-4-2 with Richarlison and Solanke up top.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they came up with some options, and then they were getting a little bit wild and saying about putting Spence in and then Porro on the right, because we obviously need some more creativity. So yeah, let me just throw that out there. What you guys think about some of those options?
Well,
Who's going to create?
yeah, the big question is where's the creativity going to come from?
Well, this guy said Odegaard can actually do that. I don't know, because we haven't seen enough of him. So he was making a point about that. I'm going, well, okay, if you saw it, we haven't seen it.
In the championship, though, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a bit dubitative about trying that in a cup final, but we're going to have to try something that we haven't done so far. Whatever happens, we need to try something different.
What about putting Bentancur up there, and then having Sarr and Basuma in the dual pivot? Because Bentancur definitely has the capacity to be more creative than perhaps any of those midfielders.
He can find a pass.
My only issue with that,
he can find a pass, Marcel. Yes, he can.
He certainly can, but my only issue with that is that Sarr and Basuma have played together and looked very poor pairing in the past. If it was my choice and you're going to go with those three, I'd be playing Sarr further forward and just getting him to run at them, because Manchester United are a side that do not cope well with players running at them. And he's done extremely well against them in the past, just doing that.
Yeah.
So
that's what
be unusual for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to go for something very different. I think we're going to go for a chaos ball strategy. I think our most creative player is going to be our right back. I think it's going to be Pedro Porro.
And he could well be. I agree.
We're going to end up stringing 4 very attacking forwards across the front. We'll play Solanke, we'll play Son, we'll probably play Richarlison, and then who do you play on the right? Do you play Brennan Johnson or do you play Odegaard? You probably got to go for Johnson because of his goals this season. But Odegaard would be a good choice as well. And then you play 2 in midfield and your standard defence, and your 2 midfield. I think we all know what that's going to be. It's going to be Bentancur and Basuma, and just go full chaos ball, because their backline is weak. Their backline is very weak.
That's exactly what I would go for. That's exactly what I would go for. I'd have Richie and Richie playing more, not so much as a second striker, but more as slightly deeper, basically creating an absolute mess around the D of their penalty area all the time, and doing sort of his defensive work that he does pretty well. I think that seems to be the best option to me. I completely agree with Stu. You actually named what I would have named as my team just then.
Yeah. By the way,
it's a risk.
It's
a risk because we haven't played like that this season. Apart from the ends of a couple of games against, I think, Bordeaux, we played that kind of setup. But it is a risk. But I think, considering the injuries that Manchester United have got, and we can go through the names now. Lisandro Martinez is out. Joshua Zirkzee is out. Matthijs de Ligt is out. Aiden Heaven, one of their youngsters, is out. Lenny Yoro is out. Diogo Dalot is out. Johnny Evans, good news, everybody. Johnny Evans might make it. I could just do, everybody's complaining about Sonny aging out. 3-year-old Sonny. Let's see how he does against 35-year-old Johnny Evans. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
In the previous game, we had Kulusevski keeping Patrick Berg quiet.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep Fernandes quiet?
That's a good question.
It's a good question. I think maybe you need to basically task Basuma to do that job, and we need to hope that Bruno effectively does what he did to Maddison and just gets frustrated and kicks him, because we could do with him getting sent off. That would be
absolutely
nice.
Well, in that case, wouldn't we do well to task Richie to mark him?
Richie would be a good way of winding him up. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Or Bentancur, because he's got a history of winding people up as well. So we have a fair few spoilers and shithousery people in our side, so it could all work out nicely.
Be a different sort of keeping quiet.
Yeah, very much.
What do we?
Go on, Ashley.
No, or we just have Cootie take him out in the opening minutes in a fair way, and send him a message. You know, they used to do that, right? The players, of course, they can't do it now, but they used to do that. You know, take
Put
him
a
out
reducer in. Put a reducer on him.
Yeah.
That's what they called it, wasn't it?
a reducer. Yeah.
Yeah. Put a reducer on him.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sadly, with
Steve,
Spurs,
sorry.
you know, it would be the fastest red card in a cup final ever. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's why I was worried about Bissouma doing the job.
Well, that's right. He's bound to pick up a booking at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I would have either Bentancur or Richie trying to reduce Fernandez's influence. One of those two.
It's a good
I
call
don't
on.
think Bissouma's got the concentration levels for it, unfortunately.
It's a good call on Richarlison. I was thinking
Yeah.
Bentancur. That's a good call on Richarlison because he is such a winder-upper. He's great for that. Yeah. So yeah.
But he's also a really hard worker, and he's also playing that role that James Maddison had. So, you know, playing the furthest forward midfielder. He'd be playing as a midfielder in what we're thinking.
No,
And the only other thing I wonder is, you know, and I'm going to, Stu's going to take the piss out of me now, but, you know.
Oh, here we go. Carry on. I know exactly what's coming, but go for it.
Because Brennan Johnson's a bit lightweight. We've already got a very attacking side. So it would be better to have someone with a bit more spine on the right, and that would be Porro on right wing. You knew I was going to say
Porro.
that, didn't you?
with Jed Spencer's right back, right?
Yeah.
Right. The only thing about it is the only time we've actually played those two together on the right-hand side, they were switched around the other way. Jed Spence was playing right wing and Porro was playing behind him.
I know.
Was that Fulham, I think, earlier in the
Yeah,
season?
it's completely stupid.
Yeah, that did not work.
It wouldn't. Why would it?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it could be interesting.
Because that back five they've had an amazing set of results this season when they've all played together.
Absolutely.
21 games they've played together and they've won 16 of them. Across all competitions. So that's ridiculously good record. The thing I am enjoying, I have to say, in the build up to it is the way that Ange is leading effectively the coverage. He's leading the press into paths that he wants to go down. It's all very positive. It's all talking about the things that he wants to see and the reaction he's got from the players and the preparedness they've got, despite the issues that they have. And there are significant issues. Whereas the Manchester United stuff is talking about Amorim not being there next season, and why he's got a bandage on his wrist because he hit the wall or something like that. You know, it's all, the Spurs side is very positive and the Manchester United stuff is very negative. And I think that is the experience of an older manager showing through. And I think he has the knowledge to lead a club through a final like this. Manchester United have the players that have that experience because they've got players that have won cups. We don't have that. But we've got a manager that has led teams through finals in the past and gone on and won it. So I really hope that he can get that across.
We've got a couple of cup winners in the team.
You're gonna have to remind me. James Maddison won it with the FA Cup with
No,
Leicester.
he didn't. No, he didn't.
He didn't won a World Cup.
He didn't win with Leicester. He didn't.
Did he join Leicester after the FA Cup win? I thought he played then.
We got two, Cootie and who else, Dave?
Sonny.
Well, actually, true. Bentancur won a Serie A. Two of them, I believe. Two of them, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do have some cup winners.
I don't think we can say we don't have like winners in a team. We've got Cutie's won the freaking World Cup, you know. That's not nothing.
Yeah, true.
And two.
No, it's definitely not nothing. Yeah, two Copa Americas, one World Cup.
Yeah.
Right. And Bentancur too as well with the Serie A, which is, you know, nothing to sniff at.
And I'm going to put it out there that I think Porro has a winner's mentality.
I agree.
I love Porro.
He's passionate and driven.
Yeah.
He makes mistakes, but I think he's really come good this season.
Yeah, I think he's an absolutely smashing his attitude is top notch. He's like on it from minute 1 to minute 99. And like you said, you know, he's been caught out. I don't know whether he really has been caught out or whether he's being told to play a certain way, actually.
Yeah.
So but he's a real competitor, really gets G'd up the crowd a lot. Really like him. I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
And when we see him in the European style of play in the Europa Cup, he's faultless.
Yeah.
The league games where he comes crashing. There must be a difference in tactics.
And a goal scorer as well.
Have you guys noticed how if we make a good play, the way that Porro and Cootie do that Spanish chest bump? It's really violent, and it's just like, oh yeah. Have you seen them do that? They smack each other like that.
Yeah.
I am not at all surprised that Cuti Romero does something violent from time to time.
Listen,
that man celebrates violently.
Listen, if Sonny doesn't start, Cootie could be the guy potentially lifting that trophy.
So Sonny will be in the squad almost certainly. Whether he starts or not will come down to his fitness. I mean, my understanding from what Andrew's saying is he's going to get some minutes against Aston Villa. How many minutes is the question, and there's also the Matty Cash issue, because Sonny would be playing right up against Matty Cash, and we know the history he has with our players. So that worries me a little bit, but let's hope that Sonny gets through. I shouldn't think he'll get more than a half. He'll play 45 minutes and then won't play again. I mean, that was the deal with Crystal Palace. Basuma and Bentancur were both told you get to play 45 minutes each, and that's it. So hopefully Sonny will be exactly the same. I think he's going to start in the final, but it does raise the Harry Kane question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see him start a game but really not deserve his spot, because that's what we've seen in the past.
Absolutely.
But has anybody else playing in that position nailed it down for themselves, made it difficult?
Well,
like, you know,
Richarlison actually is doing a pretty good job at that. He has.
Yeah, Richarlison did well.
And quite frankly, given what you said earlier, Dave, you know, he puts himself about. He's a competitor. I'd love that sort of attitude, like Porro. I would like to, and Cootie, I'd like to see that attitude somewhere in the lineup, starting in the lineup in the final. And if that means moving Sonny, you know, okay. Or adding into that chaos front four you guys were talking about.
So is it too early for someone like Mikey Moore to feature in this game?
Which game?
Because in the final, because he is such a Mikey Moore. Yeah, he's such a good quality player, and people are talking about him being the one to play in that number 10 position. I think it's too early. I think it's too early in his career to be putting that pressure on his shoulders. But at the same time, he's just so good. I'm tempted. I would be tempted if I was Ange.
I'm just concerned that we're confusing potential with current. You know, I think he's got the potential to do that. I don't think, you know, in the games he's played, he's shown some good stuff in fits and starts. He hasn't played. He hasn't played 90 odd minutes of influential attacking play, and that's not a criticism of him, because I think he's a player that gets bums off seats. You know, everyone's standing up and cheering on. He's, you know, some of the times he's been really good, but I don't think he's yet at that stage where he can come in and take hold of a match and run it. I mean, you know, why not? Because we haven't seen enough of him to know, but I think it seems a little bit early to me.
Yeah, I think it's too early. He's 17 years old. He's got years ahead of him, and he's going to be just fine.
He could be a wild card coming on later on.
Yeah.
Because Manchester United would know very little about him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to see him. He's got the skills to run at them. Certainly.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him more central.
What if we played him tomorrow's game actually there? Just run him out over there, see how he looks.
Good.
I think he'll get minutes.
In a sense, it's what Dave said and Marcel playing him a little bit more centrally. That'd be good to see, wouldn't it? Also, Stu, what you said. He's got the potential.
No, I said it. None of the others did.
Just David.
But I agreed.
Run him out there in tomorrow's game. Why not?
I think he'll definitely play against Villa at some point. I think he'll probably come off the bench. But I mean, the Villa game, it's going to be disappointing to lose a 21st game of the season, but it almost seems a fait accompli that that's what's going to happen.
What's that?
I'll definitely watch.
Dave, you're not going to watch it?
For me, it'll be like going up to a bar and ordering a pack of peanuts from behind the bar in the hope that you're going to get a glimpse of something special.
You never do. You never do. I ate so many peanuts and never got a glimpse of anything. That's so brilliant, Stu.
Nobody has any idea what we're talking about. If you do, put it in the comments below. Thank you.
I'm just going to say KP peanuts and leave it there.
Yeah.
Did anyone see those comments by Danso about how motivating Ange is in his pre-match speeches in the changing rooms? He's never felt so motivated by any other manager.
Wow.
So what happens to the team between the changing room and the pitch?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think, honestly, I think that if you've got a mix of players, some of them are going out there going, it doesn't matter how well I do, I'm not going to break into the team. Right. And I don't want to get injured in case there's an opportunity. And then you've got other ones that are saying, actually, I'm in the first team and this game is a dead rubber and I better not get injured or tire myself out. So even if one of the sort of B team players, I'm saying B team in inverted commas players, tries to play well, they're trying to play with people that are not particularly interested in playing well either. So I think it's a real. It's just honestly, I think to the end of the season, the league's already over. I don't think I'm going to watch any more league games this season. I'm not going to waste the time. It's starting to have nice weather some of the time. I want to be out and doing stuff rather than watching that.
In a rainy Normandy.
Well, unfortunately, today I come up to Normandy and it's really cloudy and unpleasant. But there you go.
I think.
So last thing, gents.
Sorry, what were you saying, Marcel?
I was just about to say, I think actually in Danso, I think we've got a decent player there.
Yeah, me too.
I do. Yeah, I think. I mean, I have a very strong suspicion that we'll be losing Romero in the summer, and I think we'll be losing Ben Davis in the summer, and I think we'll bring in one player to basically fill that spot. And Danso, I think, is the obvious one to step in and be the guy that takes over Romero's spot. He's a decent passer. He's got pace. He's strong. He's a decent tackler. He's decent in the air. He's a good player. He's not particularly great at anything, but he's generally good and solid. If you look at the games we've lost when he's been playing, it's his defensive partner that's been targeted. The weaknesses have been there, not particularly on his side.
Yeah.
So with Vuskovic coming in as well, I suspect we'll see one player come in, but that will be it for the defense.
And we've got Dragusin to come back as well, haven't we?
We've got Dragusin as well. So that's 4 centre backs there. If Davis is going, we need another one.
I don't know. Are we going to keep Dragusin, do you think?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do a big breakdown of the squad, I think, just after the season has ended. We'll do an end-of-season pod, and we'll talk about those players. But Dragusin is probably not going to be fit for the start of the season. So whether he even makes the squad is yet to be determined. But last things before we go, gentlemen. Where is everyone going to be watching the match? I am going to be in, what is it? It's the Le Coq and Bulldog in Paris. Ash, where are you going to be?
I'll say it in French, Le Greyhound in Highland Park.
Le Greyhound, okay.
Le Greyhound in Los Angeles. And just to remind, because we were speaking about, Dave didn't hear this, at the 2019 Champions League final, we only have capacity for about 200 there for LA Spurs. This is LA Spurs. I've got an LA Spurs shirt on. Anyway, we had a request for more because we were wristbanding it, which is what we'll do next Wednesday. And it ended up we had to open up 4 bars, our bar, a related bar, and then the Masonic Temple and a bowling alley, all within 2 blocks or 1 block of our home. And we had an estimated, and we don't know where they came from, not Liverpool fans, 1,000 Spurs fans at these 4 venues. So we're expecting, we got an email today saying, hey guys, space is limited. We're looking at how to handle overflow. Get your name in for the wristbanding. For the 200, we can actually get into Le Greyhound.
Perfect. Marcel, you're going to Bilbao. Have you managed to actually sort out your point of watching the match yet, or are you going to be hoping for a fan zone?
Well, the fan zone isn't going to be showing the match, apparently.
Oh, boy.
What's
It's
the point of
closing
that
at
then?
5:30, 6
Yeah.
o'clock, which is a complete waste of time. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking for a bar, obviously. But the worst case scenario is that I've got my phone with me, so I'll watch it on the stream on my phone. But
Oh, you can't be
I'm
doing
hoping
that.
to find a bar, obviously, with some other friends who I know are going without tickets. So we'll see. But it will
You'll
be
find
in a
somewhere.
bar in Bilbao somewhere, or on my phone, sitting in the motorhome, overlooking the stadium.
That would be
From my-
Okay, so if we have
fantastic.
anyone listening who is in Bilbao and they know where the game is going to be shown, put it in the comments below and just let Marcel know so he can head over to watch the game and enjoy it with some fellow Spurs fans. David, you have the choice of 2 pubs I'm aware of. Which one are you going to go to?
Dave, we can't hear you.
Can't hear.
Ready? Wait a minute.
There we go. You're back. You are back.
Okay, don't know what happened there. So obviously I'd like to watch it with you. But the Cock and Bulldog's a little bit further away than the pub. And the Cock and Bulldog has unpleasant memories of the Liverpool match for me. I would really like to go to the pub to watch it.
Okay.
So we haven't finished talking about it, Stu. We need to decide.
We will talk about it offline, but I will be honest, the memories I have of the Cock and Bulldog is the Ajax second leg semi-final.
I was at home for that.
Yeah. So I want more of the same from there. That would be great.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it offline. So I'll be watching.
We'll definitely talk about it offline. But thank you everyone for joining us. Last thing, very quickly, let's go round. Anybody think Manchester United's going to get a win? I say fuck no.
No, we're going to win.
Spurs are going to win.
We have to win it. We have to win it.
Yeah. I think we're going to win it, but it's not going to be easy. We never do it easy. Could be extra time.
Ooh, extra time and penalties is possible.
Give a quick recommendation. I don't know whether people listen to the Extra Inch podcast. The first 5 minutes of their podcast this week is Bardi talking up the final, and frankly, it's absolutely brilliant.
I shall have a listen.
Listen to the first 5.
I'm not going to talk negative of another pod, but I've kind of moved away a little bit from the Extra Inch recently because of the general tone of things. I'm a big fan of The Game Is About Glory. Those guys are doing great work.
Well, of the 3, I really like Bardi, and I listened to him, but the first 5 minutes, just listen to the first 5 minutes of the Extra Inch podcast.
I shall have a listen. Okay, everybody. Let's close things out now. Bardi. Bardi. All right, everybody. Let's close things out now. I hope you all have a fantastic final experience. I hope we have a fantastic game, and win, lose or draw, it won't be a draw, and I really hope it's a win. We all need to get together behind the side and just all together say it. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.